Live from Thousand Oaks, California, it's the San Luis Obispo Blues and the Conejo Oaks. The Oaks had a commanding lead of the CCL South, but have kind of stumbled into today's game with a 3-game losing streak, and the Blues are riding high after defeating the Philippines baseball group by a score of 6-4 last night at Sinsheimer Stadium. Hello, everyone, and welcome inside the broadcast booth at Sparky Anderson Field. My name is Nate Mills, and this is the Ancient Owl pregame show. And a hello and a thank you to everyone watching at Ancient Owl right now. Appreciate you supporting us all season on the Slow Blues Streaming Network and at the Ancient Owl Watch Party. So again, hello to everyone at Ancient Owl, and welcome to the broadcast. All right, let's get into the show. So the Blues defeated the Philippines group 6-4 last night, and it was highlighted by a performance from E.J. Royal, who went 3-for-5, an RBI single in the fourth and a double in the third. Royal's been struggling to collect those extra base hits. Most of his 800-plus OPS is filled by on-base percentage. He was slugging last summer in 2024 and has kind of hit a lull this year. Now he's starting to pick it back up with a couple of doubles in 4 games, and he's leading off today for the San Luis Obispo Blues. Let's get back to the magic number. We talk about it all the time, but it's important as ever as the Blues have 3 games left in the summer. After today, just 2. Two, and they're both at home against the Oaks on Saturday and the Riptide on Sunday. So it's the Conejo Oaks today who are in first in the CCL South. The magic number to make the postseason, the 3 seed, the final spot, is 2 for the Blues. And as it stands right now, the 4th place team in the CCL North is the Alameda Merchants, and they play the Walnut Creek Crawdads today, who are in 3rd. So of course, if the Merchants beat the Crawdads, then they flip, and then that complicates everything. But as it stands right now, if you're a Blues fan, you do not like the Alameda Merchants today, and of course you love your Blues as always, because if the Merchants lose and the Blues win today, they have clinched the final playoff spot in the CCL postseason. Now, the magic number to be a 2 seed, which would mean the Blues would host a wild card game, and that would either be Walnut Creek or Alameda coming to the Central Coast. That magic number is 3. So the combination of 4th place losses and Blues wins has to equal 3. And to get first place, the Blues have to win out, and the Seagulls have to take down the Stompers. All this can be solved if the Blues just win out through the rest of this summer. But it all starts today against the Conejo Oaks. On the hill today for San Luis Obispo, it's the right-hander from Cal Poly SLO, Eric Cavidal. Still kind of looking for that out pitch this summer, a little inconsistent at times. He gets to the 3-2 count, the 0-2 count. He fills up the strike zone. He fills up the count deep to these hitters. He just can't quite put it away. He's been struggling a bit this summer as a starting pitcher for the Blues, but San Luis Obispo will look to ride him in this contest against the Oaks. Here's a player I am actually really excited to see this contest for San Luis Obispo. It's Charlie Caruso, the left-handed hitting catcher, because right field at Sparky Anderson Field on the campus of Cal Lutheran, the ball flies. Left-handed hitters who hit for power, they can hit some easy home runs out to right, and Caruso a couple of games ago hit a couple of home runs himself at Sinsheimer, which I would say is the hardest field to hit a home run at. A couple of years ago, we had an outfielder on the Blues named Jeriel Lewis who hit a grand slam at this stadium. He's a left-handed hitter too, and it was launched 320 feet down the right field line. The wind is blowing out that way. We're here in Thousand Oaks, so it's kind of like a coastal valley, if you will, of that ocean breeze blowing that ball out to right field. And something we noticed too in batting practice, if you're going to pop it up, the ball's going to hang in the air for a long time. So infielders and outfielders and catchers have to be communicating on pop-up priorities and making sure they're getting good angles on those pop-outs. Well, those are some things to watch for today for the Blues. If you're a Blues fan, you're just hoping they win out. And the magic number is 2 to make the postseason. The Crawdads and the Merchants play at the same time of the Blues at 4 p.m., and I'll be giving you updates on that on the Slow Blues Streaming Network. But for now, let's send it back to the field for the Conejo Oaks and your San Luis Obispo Blues. Thanks for watching the Ancient Owl pregame show.
Just 8 people waiting. Let's go. Let's just playoff fucking implications. This game determines if I get to go home early.
At this time, we ask you please rise at table and remove your
I'll try to
cap
catch it.
playing of the national anthem.
It's probably fine. Those is difficult.
Anthem before theirs. This is huge.
Win the Anthem, 1-0 Blues.
Holy quiet, you're so good.
Yeah, just wait.
Wait till like the fourth.
Live from Thousand Oaks, California, on the campus of California Lutheran, it's Blues baseball as they play against the Conejo Oaks in a crucial stretch to finish out the 2025 campaign, as the Blues are still in search of a final playoff spot to end the year. Hello everyone and welcome inside the broadcast booth. Nate Mills on the call for you today on the SLO Blues streaming network. It's the SLO Blues and the Conejo Oaks. The Oaks enter today's game on a 3-game losing streak. They dropped 2 in a row against the Orange County Riptide and 1 against the Arroyo Seco Saints, who are stumbling into the playoffs right now. The Oaks have a total record of 22-12 in this season. The Blues have a total record of 29-16, but in conference play, they are 22-15. A record nearly mirroring the Conejo Oaks as we enter conference play today. Here's the starting lineup for your San Luis Obispo Blues. Leading it off and playing center field, it's E.J. Royal, with Jake Hicksonbaugh playing in right and batting second. Batting third, it's the first baseman, Zach Tullerman, with Charlie Caruso cleaning it up and DHing. Diego Murillo's at second and bats fifth, with Drew Raymond playing in left, batting sixth. Batting seventh, it's Nico Button, with Brady Alves at short, batting eighth. Rounding it out in the ninth spot is the third baseman, Gavin Constantine. The defensive alignment for the Conejo Oaks, well, Jacob Galloway, former Blue, is behind the dish, with Johnson at first and Gonzalez at second. Hawley at third, Mora at short. The outfield left to right is Schwartz, Kendlinger, Danielwitz, with Wilkes DHing. And on the rubber for the Oaks, it's the right-hander from Westmont College, Caden Beloian. Right-hander dealing against the Blues this afternoon. Well, here's some more information on Beloian. Beloian entering his junior season with the Warriors and has a 3.66 ERA in 6 starts for the summer with the Oaks, and in 27 innings pitched has 21 Ks, 9 walks, and 30 hits. Striding up to the plate for the first time today, it's the leadoff man, E.J. Royal, as he looks to lead the charge against the Conejo Oaks on a beautiful sunny afternoon in Southern California. This is the Blues' final road trip of the summer down here in Thousand Oaks. They host the Oaks tomorrow at Sinsheimer Stadium, and then the OC Riptide the day after. Beloian, the right-hander from Westmont, comes set as he hitches with his feet close together from the stretch. Here's the first pitch. EJ takes it high at 4:04 p.m. on the campus of Cal Lutheran. 4:04 start with a game time temperature of 75 degrees and sunny. A 1-0 count to EJ, the leadoff man. Here it comes. Another fastball high, 2 balls and no strikes. Royal in yesterday's game against the Philippines baseball group went 3 for 5, drove in a run, doubled, and scored a run himself. He was yesterday's dog of the day. In the driver's seat here, the 2-0. Fastball in there for a strike. In the upper outside corner is Caden Beloian, moving it to a 2-1 count. Royal, the center fielder, leading it off. A former Blazer from Utah Tech. Will be graduating from the school this summer. Four-seamer misses high, and Royal still in the driver's seat, 3 balls and a strike. Jake Hicksonbaugh is on deck for San Luis Obispo. Not a cloud in the sky here in SoCal. The rolling hills behind Cal Lutheran showing hints of green, but mostly brown dirt. Long hold, here's the 3-1. Royal leaves a changeup and a called strike, 3-2. And EJ expecting a fastball in the hitter's count, but instead he gets the combio from Beloian. Kind of locked up EJ. He took his stride and kind of buckled up a little bit. A little hesitation, didn't get the swing off. So a 3-2 count with no outs. Royal leading it off in the top of the first. The payoff pitch. Fastball low and outside. That's ball 4. Leadoff walk for EJ. Royal gets things started for the Blues in the top of the first inning. And as we said, the Oaks kind of stumbling into today's ball game on a 3-game losing streak. And Beloian's their starting pitcher trying to lead the charge to get them back on the right track. They are a half a game above the OC Riptide, who stand in second place in the CCL South. The Blues play the Riptide on Sunday. So here's Jake Hixenbaugh, who went 2 for 4 on July 23rd against the MLB Youth Academy Barons. First pitch, popping the leather, and a called strike one. 2 for 4. Hixenbaugh was also caught stealing and struck out. Some nice throws by the catcher Buckley in that game. 0-1. Long swing and a miss for strike two. Hixenbaugh late on the fastball, and he takes his time digging back in the box as he surveys his bat and taps his cleats. Riding the inside of the dish with Royal having an average lead off first base. And a pick over there, EJ with a head-first slide in time. Wind blowing out to right field. In the outfield, but right here in the press box, it feels like it's blowing from right to left. Bit of a crosswind happening in the coastal valley of Thousand Oaks. Another pick. EJ close, but in time. Left-handed hitting Hixenbaugh has sort of found his swing late into this summer. Kind of struggled to begin the season, but has figured it out as of late. 17 hits in his 69 plate appearances. 246 average. Hixenbaugh dribbles it foul and into the Blues dugout. We'll do it again at 0-2. Jake has driven in 7 runs this summer for the Blues. 10 walks to his 20 strikeouts. A .619 OPS. He's come a long way. The numbers don't quite show it yet, but the beginning of the season where he struggled to find some playing time, he's starting to hit a groove. The 0-2. Hicks late on another fastball and fouls it into the net behind home plate, staying alive in the battle against Caden Belowian. EJ Royal at first base, Jake Hixenbaugh battling in an 0-2 count with no outs, top of the first inning against the Conejo Oaks. Zach Tullerman stands on deck, the first baseman from San Jose State, who got a night off last night. EJ slightly increases his lead at first. Belowian delivers. Hicks drills it into center field. Kendlinger moving back, and he will make the catch as Royal retreats to first. Loud out from Jake Hixenbaugh. It's the first out of the inning. That's what Hixenbaugh has been doing best, catching barrels, whether it's lucky or not. If he makes it out, it's usually pretty loud. So one gone, and Royal, who reached on first with a leadoff walk, stays there. It's Zach Tullerman. ZC was 0 for 3 with a strikeout, a walk and a hit by pitch on July 23rd against the Barons. That's the last time Jake Hixenbaugh started a game as well. Blues rocking their navy blue tops with the silver scripture across the chest. The Oaks with their powder blue tops. Fastball misses high, 1-0 to Tullerman. Catcher Galloway had to get out of his squat to get there. Another blue on blue matchup this summer. I feel like we've seen a lot of those this year. Wind slightly dying down at Sparky Anderson Field as Belowian takes a breath and delivers. Another high fastball here, 2 balls and no strikes. Charlie Caruso, the SoCal native, stands on deck. The left-handed hitting catcher DHing today. With 1 out, runner on first. Here's the 2-0. Royal takes off to second. Tullerman swings and pops it up and out of play, foul. Tullerman and Jacob Galloway familiar with each other. Galloway the catcher for Conejo, as they both played for the Blues 3 years ago. Exchanging some hellos as Tullerman is in the midst between a battle with him and Belowian. Two on count, 1 out, runner at first. Scoreless game at the top of the first inning. Tullerman checks his swing on a high pitch. They appeal to first, and he went around for strike 2. Third base coach Rene Regalado doesn't agree, but ZT now has to dig back in a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Royal blue elbow guard, shin guard, and oven mitt in his back pocket. Waving around the lumber as he awaits the offering from Belowian, who comes set from the stretch. Pick to first, Royals in. 2-2 count with 1 out. EJ reached on a walk to begin the inning. A deep breath, the 2-2. Tollerman watches it down the middle of the plate for strike 3. A changeup from Belowian freezes up Zach Tollerman, and that's the second out of the inning.
Now batting, number 24, Charles Caruso.
Caught looking, and it's Charlie Caruso now. Caruso DHing after going 1 for 4 with a double last night against the Philippine baseball group. And all 3 of his outs, like Jake Hicksonbaugh, were loud. All flyouts to some part of the outfield. EJ goes to second. They pick over to second. The throw is low, and they go over to first. EJ's back in time. So the pitcher Belowian threw it to the shortstop Mora at second base, and it was low. Couldn't exchange it in time. EJ gets back to the bag safely. The Blues dugout trying to bargain for a balk from Caden Belowian that time. The home plate umpire wasn't having it. Caruso still waiting for the first offering with Royal at first. With 2 outs, the first pitch. This is high, 1-0. Charlie this summer batting 184, but has a 421 slugging. Another pick, EJ in. 7 hits in his 38 at-bats, but 4 of them are for extra bases. 2 homers, a triple, and a double for Caruso. Here's the 1-0. Charlie spoils it high, 2-0. 86 miles an hour on the fastball from Caden Belowian. Diego Murillo stands on deck for the Blues. Here's the 2-0. Caruso want to hack it on that offering, but he pops it up and out of the stadium. 2 balls and a strike. Caruso was ready to grip and rip on the hitter's count. Got an elevated fastball and wanted to absolutely maul it, but just got underneath it. The lefty hitches in the batter's box, hugging home plate as the righty Belowian comes set. Strides and shoots. Caruso rolls inside of an offering at 86 miles an hour. 3 balls and a strike. Still ahead in the count is Charlie Caruso. Caruso, a Northwestern Wildcat who redshirted this past season in the Midwest. Looking for an uptick of playing time this fall in Evanston. Another pick, EJ back. First baseman is Johnson. Belowian working from the stretch with his high water pants and his baby blue top. 3-1 and misses inside. That's ball 4. Caruso draws the 2-out walk, and there's 2 on for Diego Murillo. So EJ Royal advances to second. He reached on a walk, and Caruso now at first, also reaching on a free pass. It's the second baseman, Diego Murillo. Murillo batting 5th today. Went 1 for 4 yesterday against the Philippines. Scored a run, stole 3 bags, and struck out. Murillo batting .313 on the summer. A .788 OPS. Trying to look for those slugging numbers with a good on-base percentage of .422. He takes ball 1 inside on a slider, 1-0. Murillo has driven in 19 runs this summer for the Blues. He's got 1 in scoring position and 1 at first. It's cracked up the middle and into center field, a base hit. 96 miles an hour off the bat as EJ Royal hustles home. The throw goes to third. Caruso's in. An RBI double for Diego Murillo. I'll chalk it up as a single and a hit for Diego. He had or single and advanced on the throw for Murillo. Royal scores from second, and Charlie Caruso is now at third. Blues strike first in the top half of the first inning. It's been a long one for the starting pitcher, Caden Beloian. So now Murillo at second and Caruso at third. It's Drew Raymond. Raymond takes a fastball for strike one. Raymond 2 for 3 last night against the Philippines. A walk, a strikeout. He stole 3 bags as well and scored 2 runs. 2 of the 6 that the Blues put up. The 0-1. Pitch inside, 1-1. And I told you to give you an update at the other game that you should be watching if you're a Blues fan, as it determines seeding for the postseason. The Walnut Creek Crawdads hosting the Alameda Merchants. And the Crawdads are up 1-0. They scored on a wild pitch from Alameda. If you're a Blues fan, that's music to your ears. Two outs, the 1-1. Raymond tardy on a fastball as he sends it straight back, 1-2. Drew has driven in 9 this summer. Has stolen 5 bases. A 283 batting average with a 348 on base. 17 hits in his 60 at-bats. The rising sophomore at Santa Clara and a Spokane, Washington native. Beloian takes his time getting the sign. Comes set at the waist, and with 2 runners in scoring position and 2 outs, delivers the 1-2. Raymond waves and misses over a changeup for strike 3. But the damage has been done. Murillo gives the Blues an early lead in the top half of the first inning. It's 1-0 off an RBI single. Here come the Oaks on the Slow Blues streaming network. Strike first in the top half of the first inning. They scored a run on an RBI single from Diego Murillo. He scored E.J. Royal from second base, who reached on a walk. Now it's the Oaks' turn with the starting pitcher, Eric Cavidal, rolling out there to try to shut down these Oaks and bring them their 4th loss in a row. For Cavidal, he's making his 5th start of the summer in 20 1/3 innings pitched, has allowed 29 hits, 18 earned runs with 23 strikeouts and 10 walks in those 20 1/3 innings pitched. The key for him, try to find the put-away pitch against these Oaks. Here's Tommy Kendlinger leading it off. First pitch to Kendlinger, pops the leather and is called for strike 1. Tommy is playing center field as the everyday center fielder for the Oaks. He's primarily known for his flashy defense out in the outfield, but of course can swing the stick as well, as he is leading off for Conejo. The 0-1. Pitch misses inside, 1-1. He famously ended a game last season with a spectacular diving catch right here at Sparky Anderson Field. The Blues were threatening in the top half of the 9th inning, and it all came to an end off the Kendlinger catch in center. Here's the 1-1. Tommy hits a grounder up the middle. The shortstop Alves ranges to his left, makes the throw. It's not in time, even with the long stretch from Tollerman. So Tommy Kendlinger beats out an infield single and a leadoff base runner for the Oaks in the bottom of the first.
Now batting.
That's how you respond after the Blues manufacture a run against you. You get a leadoff base runner yourself, and Kendlinger, who's got the speed to do it as well. Kendlinger has stolen 8 bags this summer for the Oaks, and it brings up Lucas Danielewicz, the right fielder. Danielewicz, Kingsman from Cal Lutheran, playing in his home ballpark, as the pick over to first is not in time. He's an outfielder first baseman hybrid from Deerfield, Illinois, and has traveled all over the country in pursuit of a college baseball career. Started at Southern Illinois University at Carbondale, then went to Arizona to play at Mesa Community College. Now here on the Golden Coast, playing for the Kingsmen as he pops it up in foul ground. The first baseman Tarman calls off the catcher Button, and he makes a two-handed squeeze in foul territory for the first out of the inning. Great communication by Zach Tallman. I talked about it in the pregame show, how with the high winds at high altitude here, it's going to mess around with the baseball a little bit. There's a lot of crosswinds. It keeps the ball up in the air a little bit longer too, so you have to be sure to communicate as best as possible. Tallman did so immediately, and that's why that play was so clean. So here's a former Blue, the left-handed hitting catcher Jacob Galloway, a former Trojan from USC and a former Aggie from Texas A&M, as they pick over to first again, and Kendlinger is back in time. Now turned Beaver at Oregon State University, committed to play for the Pac-12 school this summer. Galloway is a Camarillo native and is a rising senior at 5'10", 185 pounds. Another pick, Kendlinger safe. Was 2024 honorable mention all Pac-12 when he was with the Trojans. In that season, batted .286 with 40 runs batted in and 6 home runs. Hitching in the left-handed batter's box, here comes Kvidal and delivers strike one against Galloway. Jacob played for the Blues in 2023. Only played in 8 games for San Luis Obispo and went 4 for 24 with 4 doubles. Drove in 3 and walked more than he struck out. A pick again, and Kendlinger in safe. 1-0 count to Jacob Galloway, who's still wearing the maroon even though he's committed to play for the orange and black. Maroon oven mitt, maroon elbow guard, maroon shin guard. Runner jets to second. Here comes the throw from Caruso, and it kicks off the heel of the base runner Kendlinger. It's a stolen bag, and the pitch was called a ball to Nico Button. It's a 1-1 count to Jacob Galloway. Button did everything he could to try to frame that one as a strike and still have a good throw down to second base. But Kendlinger just got a really good jump, and now he stands in scoring position. I checked that, a 2-0 count now to Jacob Galloway. The pitch. Galloway takes outside, 3 balls and a strike now. This past season at Texas A&M, he started in 14 games as the Aggies backstop, batted .220.
Thank you.
A homer, 2 doubles, 5 walks, and 7 RBIs. 2-1 to Galloway. Some score bug malfunctions. With 1 out and a runner at second base. Here's the pitch. A breaking pitch in there for a strike. 2-2 to Galloway, who has walked 18 times, hit 5 times, and only struck out 7 times this summer in his 84 at-bats. It's pretty good. That's how you play Power 4 baseball. Wynn now jetting out to left center as Kvidal sides and kicks and deals. 2-2, missing high and outside. It's 3 balls and 2 strikes to Galloway, working himself into a full count against Kvidal. Jacob Galloway, formerly an Aggie at Texas A&M, played with former Blue Grant Cunningham, who pitches at A&M. (3-2). Sent in the air to left field. Raymond takes a few steps in and makes the catch for the second out of the first inning. A fly ball out, and a runner still at second base for the Oaks. After allowing the leadoff single to Tommy Kendlinger, Kvidal has recorded 2 outs, and it's Nolan Johnson The first baseman cleaning it up. Johnson trying to do his job description as a commit to Duke. He's a former Hurricane from Miami in Florida. Going ACC to ACC as a Thousand Oaks native. First pitch, a slider that misses above the zone, 1-0. Johnson, a first baseman and a catcher. And stands in at 6'6", 218 pounds. 15 for 56 this summer with the Oaks, a .268 batting average. 10 walks to his 6 strikeouts. 1-0. Slider sent the opposite way. Higginbotham, couple steps to his right, makes the one-handed grab to retire the side. Tommy Kendlinger is stranded at second base off a leadoff single, and Cavito records 3 outs in a row following the base hit. Blues are ahead 1-0 as we head into the second inning on the SLO Blues streaming network. Nico Button leads it off in the top half of the second inning. The Blues ahead of the Conejo Oaks 1-0. Diego Murillo scored first in the top half of the first inning. An RBI single driving in E.J. Royal from second base. The bottom of the order due up, and it's left-handed hitting catcher Nico first. Caden Beloian back out there and delivers ball 1 at 85 miles an hour. Button last started on July 22nd against the San Diego Bombers. Went 1 for 2 with a walk, a hit by pitch, and scored a run against SD. 1-0. Line down the right field line and very foul. Loud sound off the bat for Button. He was all over that pitch, and he sits in a 1-1 count against Beloian. Squatting deep in his stance, filling out the entirety of the left-handed batter's box. Beloian from the belt, strides and shoots. Curveball in there for strike 2. 1-2 to Nico. Beloian working a little quicker now in the second inning. The 0-2. Takes in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Nico Button. A very nice lead from Nico. Seeing that changeup out of the hand, starting it on the lower part of the zone and then breaking away. He knew it was going to break there and spit on it the entire time through the zone. 2-2. Button swings and fights it off right into the fence behind home plate. And we'll do it again. Another changeup. Button got some contact on it and stays alive in the at-bat. Brady Alves starts his second game in a row and stands on deck for the Blues. Button leading it off in the top half of the second. Blues ahead 1-0 over the first place CCL South Oaks. 2-2. Button squibs it down the first baseline and foul. A hook from Caden Beloian, and Button was all over it. The catcher Button wearing his high pants, exposing his long navy blue socks to match the top and the helmet. 2-2. Button leaves it high and outside, ball 3. Now that is a great take from Nico. 8th pitch of the at-bat coming right up to Button, the catcher heading to the University of San Diego in the fall. Full count against the righty from Westmont College, Beloian. The payoff. Leaves it high, and that's ball 4. Great battle for Nico Button as he draws the leadoff walk in the second. A hard-fought AB, and Button earns it. Back-to-back leadoff walks to begin the innings for the Blues. Last time that happened, E.J. Royal came around to score. You know what they say about leadoff walks? They're ill-advised, and they can come back to haunt you. So here's Brady Alves trying to spook the Oaks in the top of the second. Alves actually drove in a run last night on his one hit, 1 for 3. He was also caught stealing and hit by a pitch as well. Starting shortstop from Butte College shows bunt. The pitch, pulls it back and takes a called strike, 0-1. Alves gets the sign from third base coach Rene Regalado. Surveys the barrel, a half swing, now digs back in the righty batter's box. Button with an average lead off first base, white tape around his wrist. The 0-1. Alves leaves it high at 86 miles an hour, 1-1. Beloian hasn't gone over that 86 mile an hour threshold, and there doesn't appear to be too much arm side run or cut to his fastball. The Blues batter's got to be taking note of that and ambushing any strike they get. 1-1. There's the hook and a called strike 2. Tough with 2 now is Brady Alves with Beloian in the driver's seat. Here's the 1-2. Brady leaves it high, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Alves has driven in 5 this summer on his 5 hits. 10 walks and 4 hit by pitches to his 15 strikeouts. Playing in his 18th game of the summer for the Blues and making his 15th start. 2-2. Alves holds up his swing. They thought about appealing to first, and they do appeal. He did not go around. And Galloway had to convince the home plate umpire to appeal to first base, and it went Alves' way. So a 3-2 count now to Caden Beloian, who is getting that pitch count up there. The payoff, swing and a miss, strike 3. Now with that strike 3 swinging, that was pitch number 41 in an inning and a third for Caden Beloian. That is excessive work for the Oaks. And though Alves went down swinging, you're getting Beloian to break a sweat early in this ball game and forcing the Oaks to reach into their bullpen. Here's Gavin Constantine now. Right-handed hitting batter from St. Bonaventure University. First pitch is a hack and a miss for strike 1. Nico Button still at first base. He reached on a leadoff walk. Constantine last started on July 23rd against the MLB Youth Academy after a 10-day hiatus in his home state of Texas. Fastball for strike 2. Went 1 for 3 in that game against the Academy and struck out twice. And that has been the kryptonite of Constantine this summer. The K's, 24 in his 56 plate appearances. With 1 out and a runner on first, Blues up 1-0 over the Oaks. Here's the 0-2. Constantine flinches on a pitch inside, and he takes it for a ball, 1-2. 81 miles an hour on the changeup from Beloian. And Beloian, I think right now, is just trying to figure out what pitch he's most confident in right now. He has a good mix of the curveball, changeup, and fastball that one hasn't really stuck out more than the other. From the stretch, the 1-2. Constantine takes a bouncing pitch outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. See, that time it was the curveball, and usually we've seen Beloian use it as a pitch that he wants to throw for a strike. That was pretty much the first time he used it as an out pitch to try to get the hitters to fish after. But Constantine held up, and now in a 2-2 count with an out. The leadoff man, E.J. Royal, stands on deck from Utah Tech. Here's the pitch. Constantine waves and misses over the changeup for strike 3. And it might be that changeup. It's gotten Alves out, and now it's gotten Constantine for back-to-back Ks in the second. So now here's E.J. Royal, the center fielder, who walked to begin this ball game and scored the first run of the afternoon for the Blues on a Diego Murillo single. E.J. batting .319 this summer with the Blues, a .424 on base percentage. First pitch and a slider taken low and outside, not by much, 1-0. 5 doubles and a homer for Royal. That one home run came against the San Francisco Seagulls at San Bruno City Park on their NorCal swing in the first third of the season. 1-0. Fastball hitting the outside corner, a ball and a strike. EJ didn't like the call as he stands in the batter's box still. Finally takes his foot out, scans the bat and digs back in. He's got a new grip tape on his wood bat as well. Red, white, and blue tape. And his white batting gloves wrap around it. Off the end of the bat, it leaks into left field, a base hit. Button round second. He's huffing and puffing to third, throws on the brakes and heads back to second base. 2 out single for E.J. Royal. Keeps the second inning alive for the Blues. 2 runners on now. The Blues trying to smell blood in the water and ambush with Jake Hixenbaugh up. The last time Hicks was up, allowed out to center field. Tommy Kendlinger had to take a couple steps back to make the catch. Second hit of the ball game for the Blues, and it comes off the bat of Royal. Button's at second, EJ's at first, and it's the 0-for-1 Hixenbaugh. And disengagement from the rubber as Beloian steps off. Blues still up 1-0 against the Conejo Oaks in the top half of the second inning from Sparky Anderson Field. Wind starting to pick up and blow to right. Good news for the left-hand hitting Hixenbaugh. First pitch, Hicks swings and misses over a bender for strike 1. And it's funny, Beloian getting some confidence with that changeup, striking out Alves and Constantine, and then to Royal and Hixenbaugh, he's now throwing the curveball. Maybe it's a bottom of the order thing that Beloian is noticing. Fastball dotting the inside corner for strike 2. The Colorado State University Pueblo commit now fighting with 2 strikes. Royal at first and Button at second. Royal motioning to his fellow base runner to go on the swing with 2 outs. A look at second from Beloian. Now he comes home. Hicks dribbles it down the first base line. It's a fair ball. The first baseman Johnson will get it himself and tap the bag to retire the side. Well, E.J. Royal gets a 2-out single, but 2 are left stranded. No runs and no errors, but the Blues are still up 1-0 as we head into the bottom half of the second inning on the SLO Blues streaming network. Bottom half of the second inning from Sparky Anderson Field, and the Blues were threatening with 2 runners on base but couldn't get the job done. Jake Hixenbach grounded out to the first baseman Johnson to end the inning. Now the Oaks look to at least tie it up with Tyler Holly leading it off in the top of the second, or bottom of the second. Holly's the third baseman batting 5th, was 0 for 4 last game with a couple of Ks against the Riptide. First pitch from Kvidal, he swings and sends it down the third base line and foul. Holly at third, but is a utility man from Laverne. He's a Titan from Cal State Fullerton with a .437 slugging this summer for the Oaks. He's tied for third in CCL homers behind Tommy Gooden with 7 and Brady Shannon with 5. Nice looking curveball from Kvidal, and it's taken down the middle of the plate for strike 2. Holly has 4 home runs. And this past season with the Titans, he had 1. Also had a double while driving in 2 with a 114 average. Blues up 1-0 in the home half of the second inning. Kvidal from the stretch with bases empty. The 0-2. High fastball, and Holly doesn't offer 1 ball and 2 strikes. That season with the Titans was in 2024 as a true freshman. He did not appear in any games in 2025. Kvidal comes set from the belt. A deep breath and the 1-2. Fastball fouled off the face of Button behind home plate. He's good. 1 ball and 2 strikes once again. Kvidal allowed a leadoff single to Tommy Kenlinger in the first. He stole second, was stranded after recording 3 straight pop-outs in a row. One and 2 to the third baseman, Holly. The pitch. Slider, it's popped up off the end of the bat and out of the stadium, and we'll do it again. Now, Holly is no stranger to the CCL, playing for the Conejo Oaks this summer. He actually played for the Sonoma Stompers this past season. 26 of 113. It's good for a .230 batting average, a .665 OPS. He drove in 13 with 2 homers. He's doubled that homer mark this summer with Conejo on a bigger field. 1-2. Holly swings and misses for strike 3. Kvidal challenges him with the fastball on the lower black, and he wins. First strike out of the day for Eric Kvidal, and it brings up Jake Schwartz. Schwartz, the starting left fielder, is one of the 3 left-handed batters in today's lineup for the Oaks. Batting 6, he was 2 for 4 with a strikeout last night against the OC Riptide. The lefty's ready against the righty Kvidal and takes the first pitch high and outside for ball 1. Schwartz is a Sea Lion from Point Loma Nazarene entering his senior season. Batting .418 this summer in 55 at-bats. 1-0. Schwartz pokes it up and foul for strike 1. 3 doubles and 2 homers, has driven in 7. 8 walks to his 7 strikeouts. Riding a 4-game hit streak right now. Had 2 yesterday against the Tide. With a slightly open stance in the left-handed batter's box, he waggles his bat next to his left ear. 1-1, and he freezes on a slider for strike 2. And Kvidal trying to get in a rhythm here and potentially collect another punch sheet. This summer, Eric has collected 24 strikeouts. Kvidal delivers the 1-2. Slider dribbled behind home plate, and we'll do it again. In between the wickets of the home plate umpire and the catcher, Nico Button. Bases empty, 1 out. A 1-2 count to Jake Schwartz. Struck out yesterday as a part of a 2 for 4 afternoon against the Tide. Blues up 1-0 in the home half of the second. Here's the pitch. Fastball, he challenges him again and wins. 88 miles an hour on the 4-seamer, back-to-back strikeout swinging. Here's Devin Wilkes, the DH, and another lefty batting 7th. Last time Wilkes was out there, it was 3 days ago against the Orange County Riptide. Went 1 for 3. Left-handed hitter facing the righty Cavidal with 2 outs. Back-to-back punchies for Eric. First pitch. Wilk takes it low, 1-0. Devin is an Oxnard, California native, and he finished second in the home run derby behind Tommy Gooden of the Academy Barons, who the Blues just faced and maintained pretty well. 1-0. Cracked high and deep into left field. Raymond giving chase. And we got a guy as he makes the two-handed squeeze for the final out of the inning. Cavidal faces the minimum and gets a couple of Ks as we head into the third. The Blues up 1-0 on the SLO Blues streaming network. Zach Tellerman leads it off in the top half of the third inning. The Blues still ahead 1-0 against the Conejo Oaks on a beautiful sunny afternoon at Sparky Anderson Field on the campus of California Lutheran University. The hills covered in brown and white plants with a white CLU up on top of one of the peaks. First pitch to Tellerman, and he swings and pops it up and out of play, foul. Tellerman is 0 for 1 today with a strikeout looking. And Tellerman has implemented a very patient approach down the final stretch of this summer. He was free swinging for most of the year, and that's kind of come to a screeching halt. A slugging percentage of .469. It was in the 500s for a lot of this season, but his OPS is mostly anchored by his .487 on base percentage. Take strike 2 here, and all of a sudden having to be tough with 2 strikes against Caden Beloian, who rolls out there for his 3rd inning of work. A .956 OPS for Tellerman. That still leads the team. 4 doubles, a triple, and 2 homers this summer with the Blues. The leadoff man in the 0-2 count. Off the hands, pops it up and out of play once again, and will do it once more in the 0-2 count. Tellerman starting in his 28th game of the summer with the Blues. SLO is playing game number 35 of 2025. After today, just 2 more left in the regular season. The righty Beloian from the stretch with the bases empty delivers. Slider off the plate, 1-2. Charlie Caruso stands on deck for San Luis Obispo. He walked in the first and was stranded at third base. Blues were threatening the last time they were up with Button at second and Royal at first. But after a ground ball to first from Hicksonbaugh, the inning was over. 1-2. Tellerman swings and misses on an off-speed for strike 3. ZT picks up the bat off his shoulders, but he swings right over that pitch for the first out of the inning.
Now batting, number 24.
Already the 5th strikeout of the day for the Blues, and Tellerman's 2nd in 2 1/3 innings. And here's Caruso, who was 1 for 4 yesterday with a double against the Team Philippines. Caruso making his 14th start in a Blues uniform, is 7 for 38 entering today's game. First pitch, Charlie cranks it into right field, but it's off his hands. The right fielder, Danielwitz, fights the sun and makes the one-handed grab for the second out of the inning. Just like that, 2 outs in the top of the 3rd inning against the Oaks. A fly ball from Caruso just got a little too much jam to send that one out of the ballpark. Now it's Diego Murillo, who has driven in the one and only run of this ball game. An RBI single in the first drove in E.J. Royal from second base, who reached on a leadoff walk. Takes the first pitch and a called strike to Murillo, 0-1. Diego, a .313 batting average, is 3rd on the team behind Tollerman at .321 and Royal at .319. Another fastball, this time it misses high, 1-1. And Diego gets on base too, a .422 on base percentage, and he's clutch. He just collected his 20th RBI of the summer and has moved into 2nd place in that metric. Spoils a pitch outside here and sends it into the Blues bullpen out of play. 1-2 to the uncommitted former Riverhawk from Northeastern State University. Also a Cougar from Cuesta College, just up the road from where he was born and raised, San Luis Obispo, where he graduated from SLO High. Buckled up on an off speed, and he takes it down the middle for strike 3. Don't blink and you'll miss it. Caden Beloian faces the minimum in the top of the 3rd. We head into the bottom half of the frame. The Blues are still up though, 1-0 over the Conejo Oaks, in an inning brought to you by Ancient Owl Beer Garden. Bottom of the 3rd inning is brought to you by our friends at Ancient Owl Beer Garden and Bottle Shop, your go-to spot for every Blues road game. Located just around the corner from Sinsheimer, Ancient Owl is the official home of the Blues Watch Party all season long. Ancient Owl, choose your beer wisely. And hello to everyone tuning in at Ancient Owl right now for the final watch party of the summer. First pitch is drilled deep into left field. It's foul though. 2 bodies converging and no one will have a play. That swing was Zach Mora against Eric Kvidal in his 3rd inning of work. This is Mora's first at bat, and starting shortstop batting 8th, as the Oaks try to get through the lineup for the first time today. Kvidal has retired 6 in a row after allowing a leadoff single to Tommy Kendlinger in the bottom half of the 1st inning. It's Mora, who was 1 for 3 with a strikeout against the OC Riptide last night. He drove in the one and only run for the Oaks. The 0-1. Fastball off the hands is popped up and it's fouled again. No balls and 2 strikes. Mora from Moore Park, California, and another Warrior from Westmont College, much like his starting pitcher today, Caden Beloian, another Westmont College Warrior. Mora is a redshirt sophomore at 5'11", 185 pounds. The 0-2 from Kvidal is hit over the glove of Constantine at third base and into left field for a single.
Now batting.
Zach Mora ends the streak of 6 batters retired in a row, and with a leadoff single, it brings up Ethan Gonzalez, the second baseman, batting ninth. Go-ahead run at the dish for the Conejo Oaks, one of the best offensive teams in the conference, or so they used to be before their 3-game losing streak, including a loss to the Arroyo Seco Saints, who are struggling pretty hard themselves. Runner on first for Kvidal. Works from the stretch. First pitch, off the end of the bat. It's popped up into shallow right field. The second baseman, Murillo, gets called off by Hixenbaugh, who loses it in the sun at the last second. Throw goes to second base. They got him. Mora didn't get a big enough secondary off first base, and he's forced out at second. And a nice recovery. And it goes down
Now batting.
as a fielder's choice, an unconventional fielder's choice to Ethan Gonzalez. But he's on first and 1 out in the third. The center fielder is the leadoff man, Tommy Kendlinger. Recorded the first base hit of the afternoon for Conejo. Was stranded at second base the last time he was up as they picked a first and Tarman digs it out of the dirt. So Mora forced out at second base. Hixenbaugh slid to try to catch that pop out. I think he lost it in the sun at the last second. It dropped in front of him, and a nice recovery throw by Murillo. Here's a liner into right. Hixenbaugh barely has to move as he catches it with one hand. Hard liner into right field, but we got a guy there. 2 outs in the third. So up comes Lucas Danielwitz. Danielwitz is 0 for 1 today with a pop out to the first baseman, Tolerant. Your heart started to skip a few beats with that leadoff single from Mora. And even a couple more beats after Hixenbaugh lost that ball in the sun as they picked a first. Gonzalez is there. And all of a sudden you get the force out at second, and then you get the liner from Kendlinger, and things start to feel a little more okay for the Blues. And in a matter of 30 seconds, Wind jetting straight out to left as they pick again, and Mora just getting that jersey dirtier and dirtier. A scoring correction on that fielder's choice from Ethan Gonzalez. It's officially ruled as a single, so that's the 3rd hit of the day for the Blues. First pitch, a bender and a called strike to Danielwitz, 0-1. Originally called a fielder's choice and a last-minute adjustment. So that's the Blues' 3rd hit of the day, or the Oaks' 3rd hit of the day. Danielwitz was 1 for 4 with a strikeout last night against the Riptide, 0 for 1 today. With 2 outs and a runner on first, another pick. Danielwitz in 2025 had a fantastic campaign with the Cal Lutheran Kingsmen. .419 batting average with a .615 slugging. Drove in 40 with 19 doubles and 2 homers. That's some production right there. The 0-1. Slider popped up, and it might be playable in foul ground, but it exits the stadium. And no balls and 2 strikes to Danielwitz. Yeah, with that crazy season of a .419 average and a .615 slugging, D3Baseball.com named him an all-region 3rd team and 1st team all-SCIAC, which is the conference that the Kingsmen play in. He led the SCIAC in doubles with 20, ranked 2nd in the league with batting average at .419, and 4th in OPS at 1181. Here's the 0-2. Bouncing ball to second. Murillo on the big hop, gloves it and throws it over to first in time. Kvidal allows 2 base hits, but they strand a runner at second base. The Blues are still up 1-0 as we head into the 4th inning on the SLO Blues streaming network. 6-4 from Sparky Anderson Field on the campus of Cal Lutheran, and 6-7-8 due up for the Blues. Drew Raymond, Nico Button, and Brady Alves against Caden Beloian, who heads out there for his 4th inning of work. The Blues are still up 1-0 over the Oaks at their crib. Raymond takes the first pitch fastball and a called strike, 0-1. Beloian dotting the upper inside quarter on Drew. The left-handed Raymond is an outfielder from Santa Clara and a Spokane, Washington native. On the 0-1, gets another fastball, this time on the opposite side of the zone, and takes it for strike 2. Raymond trying to get his in an 0-2 count, acting as the leadoff man in the top half of the 4th inning. The 0-2, Raymond taps it to the shortstop Mora, who charges it, gloves it, throws it to first, picked by the first baseman Johnson, but it's not in time. Infield base hit from Andrew Raymond. He was flying down the line. Beats out the throw, and a leadoff single for the Blues. So now here's Nico Button, the left-handed hitting catcher, batting 7th for San Luis Obispo, who reached on a walk in the 2nd inning. Button was eventually stranded at second base after a couple of Ks and a ground ball out to first. Blues ahead 1-0 on an RBI single from Diego Murillo in the top of the 1st inning. And it's Button, the former Golden Bear from Berkeley. Pitch missing low and inside. 1-0 to Nico. Button last started 3 days ago against the San Diego Bombers. And after a few days of rest as a catcher, it's his turn in the 3-man rotation, which includes Charlie Caruso and Cam Andrews. Button fits a pop-up into shallow left. The shortstop Mora calls off everyone and makes the catch with one hand for the first out of the inning. So a flare out from Nico Button, and with one out, it brings up Brady Alves, the shortstop.
Now batting, number 14, Brady
Mora with the
Alves.
put out, and Alves is 0 for 1 today with a strikeout in the 2nd inning. The highlight of that at bat was a changeup from Caden Beloian. It really seemed like he was going to start to use that pitch more and more throughout this outing, but he just keeps throwing the curveball and the fastball, sometimes a slider, to these hitters. And Alves was 1 for 3 last night against the Philippines as they picked a first, and the 6'5" Raymond dives back in safely. 6'6" first baseman over there in Johnson. First pitch to Alves is a fastball chopped in front of home plate. It's fair. Galloway goes to second. They get the force there. They try to turn the first. It gets away. Alves now heads towards second base. And here comes the throw. It beat him by 5 steps, and now he's out. Oof, a tough double play to end the top of the 4th inning. Raymond was forced out at second base. Not as bad. Alves reaches on an error. It gets away, and he's out at second. That is bad. So 2 outs, or that ends the inning in the top of the 4th. Now it's the Oaks' turn as we head into the home half of the frame on the SLO Blues streaming network. Galloway leads it off in the bottom half of the fourth inning. The Blues came up empty in the top half of the frame. They were threatening with a runner on first base, but after a classic 2-6, 3-6 double play, the inning ended. So it's Galloway facing Eric Kvidal, and he takes ball one on a curveball. Galloway, the last time he was out, flew out to left field. Raymond was able to make the grab. Kvidal from the stretch with the bases empty in the home half of the fourth, delivers the 1-0. Galloway pops it up, and it will be a foul ball, 1 ball and a strike to the future Oregon State Beaver. Galloway, a 5'10", 185-pound senior catcher from Camarillo, California. Bats left-handed, a former USC Trojan and an A&M Aggie. Made 20 appearances and 14 starts behind the dish for Texas A&M this past season with a homer, 2 doubles, 5 walks, and 7 runs batted in. Curveball, and he takes it here for a ball. Didn't miss by much below the zone. 2 balls and a strike. Scored 7 times for Texas A&M, and he stole 2 bases as well. Here's the 2-1. Galloway hits it on the ground and into right field, a base hit. Sneaks through the 4-hole, and a leadoff single for Jacob Galloway. 3rd hit of the ball game for the Oaks. The quote-unquote hit from Ethan Gonzalez was ruled a fielder's choice, then a base hit, and then now it's a fielder's choice again. So Galloway is now 1 for 2 following the leadoff single, and it brings up Nolan Johnson, who flew out to right the last time he was up. Kvidal works from the stretch, and the first pitch pops the leather for strike 1. Johnson heading to Duke this next fall after a season at Miami for the Hurricanes. He appeared in 12 games and made 2 starts behind the plate as a 6'6" catcher. Went 5 for 11, driving in 2 with 2 walks and 2 hit by pitches. The 0-1. Fastball dot in the outside corner, 0-2. 3-game hitting streak and a 4-game reached base streak in that small sample size for Nolan Johnson and his true freshman season on a very good ACC program in Miami. A Westlake High School grad as they pick off the first, and Galloway's in there safely. Staying in his hometown to play some summer baseball. He's a 4-time first-team All-County selection and first-team All-League selection. As an All-CIF first-team honoree his senior campaign. Fastball yanked outside from Kvidal. It's 1-2. Johnson has a brother on the team, Nate, who plays at Tulane. It's his twin brother. Runner on first. They pick there, and in standing is Galloway. Johnson entering today's game with a .406 on base and a .268 average. No home runs, but has driven in 2 and 15 hits. 10 walks to his 6 strikeouts. There's the ticket. He chokes up on the 1-2 and puts it in play off to the right. Murillo, the second baseman, tags the runner, throws to first in time. Cat-like reflexes from Diego Murillo to tag Galloway at second and hurl it over to first. An unassisted double play from Diego Murillo brings in 2 outs for the Blues. Bit of a head scratcher, to me at least, why he is not an easy pin at shortstop every day. So with 2 outs now and the base is empty, it's Tyler Hawley. The Oaks trail 1-0 against the Blues in the home half of the fourth, and Kvidal on the dish. Right on right matchup. Here's the first pitch. Slider misses inside, 1-0. Hawley, a Laverne, California native, a Titan from Cal State Fullerton. Didn't play this past season, but in 2024 played in 20 games, starting 13 of them. Bonita High School graduate. Another grounder to the right. The first baseman, Tullerman, underhand flips it to Kvidal at first, and the inning is over. A clutch, unassisted double play from the second baseman Murillo, and a ground ball out to first, retire the side. We head into the fifth. The Blues up 1-0 in a nail-biter against the Oaks on the SLO Blues streaming network. Top half of the fourth inning, and Gavin Constantine leads it off against Caden Belowian out there for his fifth inning of work. The Blues up 1-0 against the Conejo Oaks in a crucial game coming down the final stretch of the summer as the Blues fight for a playoff spot in the CCL North. First pitch high and inside. Constantine checks his swing but didn't go around. They appeal just to make sure, and they confirm. 1-0 to Gavin Constantine, the Bonnie from St. Bonaventure University and a McKinley, Texas native. Here's the 1-0. Constantine on the ground to third, bobbled by Hawley. He picks it up, shoots it over to first in time, and that's the first out of the inning. Ground ball out from Gavin Constantine. He's 0 for 2 today, and with one out, we'll flip it to the top of the order in E.J. Royal. E.J. is 1 of 1 today, a single and a walk. Royal has scored the one and only run in today's ball game. Murillo drove him in from second base in the top half of the first, and since then it's been a good old-fashioned pitcher's duel between Belowian and Eric Cavidal for the Blues. A right-hander is getting loose in the bullpen for the Oaks, though, Chris Lozano. The Blues pen is still empty. Popping the leather, and that's strike one on the bender from Belowian. 0-1 to EJ, who's got a new baseball bat in his hands after breaking his the game prior. 0-1, another curveball, and it's in there for a strike again. 0-2 now to EJ with one out. Bases empty in the top of the fifth. Blues lead 1-0 with Jake Hicksonbaugh, the left-handed hitting right fielder, on deck. Wind jetting out to right, the 0-2. And EJ fights it off, hitting it off the shin of Galloway at home plate, and we'll do it again. Rene Regalado coaching third for the Blues, and Paul Teixeira at first. The entirety of the Blues coaching staff traveled to this game, which is something we haven't seen all summer. Even to Santa Barbara games, which is only an hour and 30-minute drive. 0-2. Royal swings and misses at a high fastball for strike three. 2 outs in the fourth, and EJ's first strikeout of the day. The Blues have now struck out 7 times in 4 2/3 innings. Couldn't leave the high cheese alone, and it brings up Jake Hixenbaugh, who's 0 for 2 today. Flew out to center and grounded out to the first baseman Johnson so far. Hicks, a CSU Pueblo commit after a couple seasons at Monterey Peninsula College. First pitch, Hicks leaves it upstairs, 1-0. Hixenbaugh starting to hit a groove in the final stretch of the season. Was kind of struggling to get on the field and find some playing time, but ever since Dean Traynor has kind of left him in the lineup, specifically in that 2 spot, he's really found some comfortability in that left-handed batter's box. Fastball hit in the outside corner. Jake shakes his head no. 1 ball and 1 strike to the utility man. Last summer with the Blues, batted .247 with a .650 OPS. 1-1, Hixenbaugh leaves it high, 2 balls and a strike. Jake on the ascent to match those numbers with his .246 average and his .619 OPS. Clear skies at Cal Lutheran University. Wind blowing out to the pull side of Hicks. He swings and foul tips it at home. 2-2 to Hixenbaugh. Jacob Galloway behind home plate, wearing Texas A&M's alternate red, white, and blue catcher's gear. Deuce's wild offering to number 5, Hixenbaugh. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bases empty. Blues up 1-0 in the top of the 5th. Here's the pitch. Hicks with a high bounding ball to first. The 6'6" Johnson barely has to leave his feet to get there, and he taps first himself to retire the side. Unassisted put out at first base ends the top half of the 5th inning. We are halfway through at Sparky Anderson Field. Here come the Oaks in an inning brought to you by Studio Design Group Architects. Home half of the 5th inning is brought to you by Studio Design Group Architects. Whether you're designing, planning, or needing permits for a new space, Studio Design Group and their collaborative philosophy have you covered. Visit sdgarchitects.com to learn more. Jake Schwartz's first pitch swinging against Erica Vidal, and he grounds it right to the shortstop Alves, who throws it over to first in time. 1 pitch, 1 out for Erica Vidal in the 5th. Schwartz is now 0 for 2, and it brings up Devin Wilkes, the DH, batting 7th. Wilkes is 0 for 1 today with a fly out to left field. He was 1 for 3 days ago against the Orange County Riptide, and he's just looking to get anything going for the Conejo Oaks today. Cavito has not walked a single batter. He struck out 2 and has allowed 3 hits against Conejo. With 1 out, the lefty is ready against the righty. And the lefty takes from Cavito's offering 1-0. I'll give you an update on the game up north that pertains to the Blues' playoff chances. The Merchants on the road against the Walnut Creek Crawdads. They're already in the top of the 7th. drilled to short. Candy hop to Alves, though, as he collects it, throws it over to first in time for the second out of the inning. 2 quick outs here for Eric Cavidal. So the Crawdads are up 1-0 against the Merchants, but the Merchants have a runner on first base with no one out. This game started at the same time as the Blues game at 4 p.m., and they're already in the top of the 7th, just an hour and 22 minutes in. That is unbelievable. That's the fastest game I might have ever seen. Still got a couple innings left to go, but the Blues are ahead 1-0 here. First pitch fastball misses high to Zach Mora for ball 1. Mora recorded the second base hit of the afternoon for the Oaks and ended a strand of 6 batters retired in a row from Eric Cavidal. 1 of 1 today. Fastball hitting the outside corner for strike 1. Mora is a Warrior from Westmont College. 1-1 count to Mora. Here's the pitch. Fastball crushed down the left field line, but it hooks foul and out of play. Oof, man, if that one straightened out just a scotch more at 325 feet, it's gone. Some pretty tall foul poles here at Sparky Anderson Field. The Blues only have a couple sections. I would say they're about 8 feet above the fence. These are like 30, 20 or 30, give or take. 1-2. Slider, he thought about chasing, but Mora holds it up. 2 ground ball outs for Eric Cavidal in the bottom half of the 5th inning. And it's Mora who entered today's game with a .212 average in his 66 at-bats. No homers, has driven in 9. Deuce's wild offering. Cavidal delivers. Slider outside, a nice pitch, but Mora doesn't offer 3 balls and 2 strikes. And that kind of plays into what we've been talking about with Cavidal, trying to find that put-out pitch. That slider just not enticing enough for Zach Mora. Gotta get creative here. He communicates with the catcher Button on what to throw as he comes set from the waist. With 2 outs, the payoff pitch. A fastball low and inside, and that's ball 4. A 2-out walk from Eric Cavidal, and the first walk of the afternoon for the right-hander. And an update from Monte Vista High School. The Alameda Merchants have tied the Walnut Creek Crawdads on an RBI single. A reminder, the Blues' magic number to make the playoffs is 2. If the Blues win and the Merchants lose, the Blues have clinched the postseason. That might be delayed here if the Merchants can get ahead of Walnut Creek. That's at Monte Vista. Here in Southern California, it's Ethan Gonzalez with a runner on first. Fastball in there for a strike. And Eric Cavidal hovering around the upper 8s, 88, 89. And he's in his 5th inning of work. 0-1. Grounded the opposite way, backhanded by Tarman at first as he touches first base himself. Nice reaction from ZT, and it ends the inning. Eric Cavidal faces 4 in the bottom half of the 5th. We go into the 6th. The Blues up 1-0, and a new noodle comes to the mound for Conejo on the SLO Blues streaming network. Top of the 6th inning here, a good old-fashioned pitcher's duel between the Conejo Oaks and the San Luis Obispo Blues. Blues up 1-0 against the Oaks, and a new pitcher for the first time today. One of these teams goes into their bullpen. Caden Beloian's day is done, and now it's the southpaw Chris Lozano, a former Highlander from UC Riverside, faces Zach Tollerman, Charlie Caruso, and Diego Murillo. The lefty against the righty delivers a first pitch ball outside, 1-0. Tollerman is 0 for 2 today with a couple of Ks. A very patient approach in the final stretch of the season where he was free swinging for a good majority of the summer. Here's the 1-0. Curveball slips out of the fingertips of Lozano and misses high. 2 balls and no strikes. Lozano is making his 8th appearance of the summer for the Oaks, and in 10 2/3 has delivered 8 strikeouts, 3 walks, and 11 base hits for a 1.68 ERA. Tollerman demolishes it to right center field. Kemlinger at the fence and hits off the top of the wall, and ZT's in at second base with a stand-up double. My goodness, that was mashed. And Kemlinger is one of the better defenders in the entire conference, and he had a good beat on that one in the right center gap, and all he could do was field it off the top of the wall. So Tollerman discards his gear and hands it to the first base coach, Steve Tolley, as Charlie Caruso steps up to the dish. And you want to talk about power to the right side of the field. This guy is the embodiment of that. A leadoff double for ZT after a couple of Ks, and it's Caruso who is looking for his first hit of the day. First pitch, this is below the knees. The catcher, Galloway, loses it for a bit, but Tollerman stays at second base. Caruso recorded a base hit yesterday against the Riptide. He went 1 for 4 with a double, and he was just so close to multiple base hits, just getting underneath some elevated fastballs, lining it right to all parts of the outfield. Pitch missing outside, 2-0 now to Caruso. Left-hitting catcher hails from Northwestern University, where he redshirted with the Wildcats this past spring. 2-0 count. Runner at second, working from the stretch is Lozano, fresh out the pen. High and inside, Caruso nods no. 3 balls and no strikes. Charlie grew up not too far from Thousand Oaks, in Pasadena, California, a graduate of J. Sarah Catholic High School in San Clemente. Charlie pulled 2 home runs just a week ago at Sinsheimer. He wants number 3. Strike 1 to Caruso, a statue take on a 3-0 count. This field was made for left-handed power hitters. 320 down the right field line, and the wind blows straight out that way. 3-1. Caruso hits it hard off the glove of the first baseman Johnson. He looks for it, and it rolls into right field, a base hit. Tollerman strides home, and RBI single. Charlie Caruso extends the Blues lead. Hot shot off the glove at first base, and Caruso collects on his first knock of the day. Back-to-back base hits. It's a 2-0 ball game, and the Blues extend. Initially called a single. The official scoring eventually flipped it into an error. So Caruso does not get the base hit as he's at first base. It's an E3 to Johnson as Murillo takes the first pitch for a ball. A tough break for Charlie Caruso. In all fairness, that's a hard ground ball for Johnson to field because it was hit so hard. The 1-0. Murillo takes it outside, 2 balls and no strikes. So the Blues extend 2-0. Tollerman scores from second base on a hot shot grounder that hit off the wrist of Johnson and rolled into right field. Meeting at the mound between Galloway and Lozano. Beloian pitched in 5 innings today against the Blues. No runs, no earned runs, only allowing 3 hits, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. He was dominating. I think that pitch count got a little too high for the Oaks' liking, and they forced them to bring in Lozano. Average leadoff first for Caruso, as Murillo takes a 2-0 out in there for a strike. hitting the outside corner on the changeup. It's a 2-1 count now to Diego, who is 1 for 2 today, an RBI single in the first and a strikeout looking in the third. Blues now up 2-0, 2-1. Off the end of the bat into center field. Kendlinger fights the sun, a couple of side steps to his left, and he will make the catch for the second out. F8 from Diego Murillo. And that's the first out of the 6th inning. Brings up Drew Raymond, also 1 for 2 today with a single in the 4th and a strikeout swinging to end the 1st inning. A lefty Raymond up with a lefty Button standing on deck against the left-hander Lozano. First pitch changeup misses low, 1-0. And they got the scouting report on Drew. He's had some struggles with changeups this summer in the CCL. Just swinging right over the top of him. Doing a nice job leaving it alone here, though. Pitch misses inside, and it's 2-0. 2 balls and no strikes to the Bronco from Santa Clara. Caruso with the oven mitt on his left hand. Inches off first. With 1 out the pitch. Grounder to second. Gloved by Gonzalez. They'll go to second for 1, and they can't turn the double play. Raymond, again, beating out a throw to first base, but it goes down as a fielder's choice as Caruso is forced out at second base. So Raymond's at first, and Nico Button steps up. It's Button with 2 outs, and now Drew Raymond at first base. Not really trading speed for speed, as Caruso and Raymond are both fast runners. Lozano hits the low and outside corner for strike 1 against the left-handed hitting Button. Nico is 0 for 1 today with a pop out to the shortstop Mora. He also walked in the 2nd inning.
Go, Nico!
The 0-1. Miss low on top of home plate. And an even 1-1 count. Brady Alves, the shortstop, stands on deck. Wind starting to die down as the sun sets in Thousand Oaks, California. Blues up 2-0. Lefty move over to first, and Raymond's in there standing. A 1-1 count to Nico Button with 2 outs. Both bullpens empty for the Blues. It's the former Torero Nico Button. Low 1-1. Button with a long swing and a miss on a sweeping slider for strike 2. Now having to lock back in as he steps right back in the left-handed batter's box, slightly widening his stance this time and choking up just a scotch on his bat. Runner goes. Button hits it off the end of the bat, and it bloops into left center field, a base hit. Raymond heads to third. He's in there safely with a feet-first slide. Gutsy base running from Drew Raymond. That one was popped up right in front of him. He trusted his speed. It was in at third. Now Button keeps the inning alive with a single, his first base hit of the day, and the second hit of the inning. Raymond at third and Button at first. It brings up Brady Alves. Something you can appreciate about the Conejo Oaks, not a lot of stoppage with them. Kind of let their guys work through everything. Not a lot of subs either. That's kind of a CCL South theme I've noticed, except for the Foresters. First pitch to Alves is a called strike. Brady 0 for 2 today, a strikeout swinging, and a 2-6-3-6 double play. Runner goes to second. It's Button. Here comes the throw. It's late, and no tag from the second baseman Gonzalez. Stolen base for Nico Button. Didn't get the greatest jump in the world, but he's in there safely. That is Nico's first stolen base of the summer. And Raymond at third and Button at second. And a home plate umpire warning the Blues dugout with their chirping. And we're sitting right in front of the field. I didn't hear any negative comments, truly. The 1-1. Alves fouls it off himself at home plate. 1-2. The Angel City FC training camp in the distance at Cal Lutheran. Formerly the Los Angeles Rams training camp last season, but now it's Angel City FC, the NWSL soccer team. 2 runners in scoring position, the Blues up 2-0. 1-2. Alves off the end of the bat, pops it up, shallow right field. The first baseman gets called off by Gonzalez, and he makes the two-handed squeeze to retire the side. Well, Zach Tellerman scores on an error at first base from Johnson. It's a 2-0 ball game as we head into the bottom half of the 6th inning on the SLO Blues Streaming Network.
They did call that.
Tommy Kendlinger leads it off for the Conejo Oaks. The Blues extend their lead 2-0 in the top half of the 6th. It's Eric Cavidal back out there, and he delivers strike one to the center fielder. The Blues added another run on an RBI single from Charlie Caruso, scoring Zach Tellerman from second base. And it's Cavidal back out there for his 6th inning of work. Cal Poly Mustang is dealing. Slider and a big swing and a miss here for Kendlinger for strike 2. Tommy today is 1 for 2, a single in the first and a line out to right field in the third. That thing was smoked to Hicksonbaum. Led off this game with a single, and then Cavidal proceeded to retire 6 batters in a row. Here's the 0-2. Tommy swings and misses for strike 3. Goes right back to the slider, and he gets Kendlinger to chase. Third strikeout of the day for Eric Cavidal, and it brings up Lucas Danielwitz with 1 out. Danielwitz is 0 for 2, a pop out to first and a ground ball out to the second baseman Murillo. Playing in right field today, batting second for the Oaks, who trail 2-0 against the Blues in the bottom half of the 6th. First pitch is off the end of the bat into shallow left field, but the shortstop Alves backpedals and makes the catch. 2 quick outs here for Eric Cavidal, and it brings up Jacob Galloway. Galloway is one of the 3 hitters in this lineup for the Oaks to record a base hit today. He led off the 4th with a single and then eventually was tagged out by Murillo, who completed an unassisted double play. And Galloway is 1 for 2, flew out to left field in the 1st inning. And the Oaks just looking for some sort of spark to get going and have some sort of answer for the Blues on their home turf. First pitch. Galloway hits it hard into left field, and Raymond is right there to make the catch. Easy 1-2-3 inning for Eric Cavidal. He is unconscious. We head into the 7th inning. The Blues up 2-0 on the SLO Blues streaming network. Top of the 7th inning, the Blues lead 2-0 over the Conejo Oaks in a crucial game at the end of the season as the Blues make a playoff push in the CCL North. They're looking for some help with the Walnut Creek Crawdads to defeat the Alameda Merchants up at Monte Vista High School, but it doesn't matter if the Blues don't win here. Gavin Constantine takes strike 1 against Chris Lozano, the left-hander that came out of the bullpen last inning for the Conejo Oaks and immediately gave up a run off an RBI single from Charlie Caruso. The 0-1. And Gavin Constantine takes a pitch low and outside. 1 ball and a strike. Constantine is 0 for 2 today. A strikeout swinging and a ground ball out to the third baseman, Holly. The left-hander Lozano gets his sign and comes set, closing off his stance. Hiding his glove, he delivers. And it's dribbled behind home plate and fouled right back at us, 1-2. Constantine tough with 2 with his baby blue batting gloves. He stands still in the right-handed batter's box, waggling the stick behind his head. With no outs, the 1-2. Swings and misses over a changeup for strike 3. Second strikeout of the day for Gavin Constantine. And with 1 out, we'll flip it to the top of the order in E.J. Royal. Royal struck out swinging for the first time today in the 5th. Aside from that, he has walked, scored a run, and singled. That run he scored, well, that was in the 1st, and it was from an RBI single by Diego Murillo. That was the only action up until the top of the 6th inning. First pitch. Slider slipping out of the fingertips, but hitting the outside corner of Royal for strike 1. Now Lozano, a left-hander from Westmont College, trying to shut down these Blues and give his offense a chance. EJ puts it on the ground, right side. Tough hop at second base for Gonzalez. It almost hits him in the face. It gets into right field, and that's an error by the second baseman, Gonzalez. It's funny that that ground ball played like that. This is a really nice playing surface here at Sparky Anderson Field. Just kind of took a nasty hop at the last second, And an error to Gonzalez brings Royal aboard. So Royal at first, and now it's Jake Hicksonbaugh who's hitless today. Hicks is 0 for 3. 2 ground ball outs to first and a fly out to center field, but he caught all barrel on that liner to center. Pitch missing high and tight for ball 1. So EJ's at first with 1 out. The Blues up 2-0 in the top half of the 7th inning from Sparky Anderson Field. Not a cloud in the sky in Southern California. A 75-degree and sunny weather forecast at first pitch. Hicks with a long swing and a miss on a left-on-left slider for strike 1. Hicksonbaugh wearing sunglasses as the sun comes to a set here in the Coastal Valley at Thousand Oaks. Wearing a white shin guard and a white elbow guard to match the white batting gloves. 1-1. Hicks holds up his offering on another sweeper that misses below the zone. They appeal and he didn't go around. 2 balls and a strike. The white gear to match the white snow-capped mountains that he will be seeing every day in Pueblo, Colorado, as he heads out there to play for the Thunderwolves this fall. 2-1. Hicksonbaugh takes a slider low and outside. 3 balls and a strike. Chris Lozano just spamming slider after getting that big swing and a miss against Hicksonbaugh on the first one he threw. But now Hicks is standing in a 3-1 count with EJ Royal at first base. The Blues up 2-0 in the top half of the 7th with 1 out. Here's the 3-1. Jake almost hit by a fastball inside, and that's ball 4. First time Hicksonbaugh has reached base safely today, and now 2 runners on for the Blues. Royal at second and Hicks at first. Zach Tollerman comes up. A 1 for 3 day for ZT. He struck out twice in his first 2 at-bats and then led off the 6th inning against the new pitcher Lozano with a double off the top of the wall in right center field. Thing was crushed. Tommy Kemlinger is a great defender in center. He's got some wheels too, and even he couldn't get there. First pitch slider and a called strike to Tollerman, 0-1. Tollerman working late in counts in the final quarter of this season for the Blues. The first pitch curveball, not too bad to lay off that one. Both runners go. Pitch misses high and outside. The throw to second is way late. A successful double steal puts Royal at third and Hicksonbaugh at second. They both got incredible jumps, and Galloway, who's a great catcher, just couldn't get that throw off in time. So now 2 in scoring position for the Blues, and Zach Tollerman trying to sweep them home. ZT has cashed in 15 runs this summer for the Blues on his 26 hits. Sends it straight back into the fence behind home plate. 1-2 to Tollerman. 7 extra base hits for ZT. 4 doubles, a triple, and 2 homers. Both homers have been on the road for Tollerman, and this is one of those fields where it's certainly possible with a 325 left field corner. The 1-2. Pitch in the dirt, blocked by Galloway to keep it in front. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Royal at third, Hicksonbaugh at second. Two and two count with 1 out. Infield playing in with 2 runners in scoring position, less than 2 outs. Trying to prevent that run from scoring. 2-2. Tollerman cracks it on the ground left side, but it's foul. Tollerman stays alive. Home plate umpire asks for a new baseball. Charlie Caruso stands on deck. He drove in the 2nd run of the ball game in the 6th inning. Blues have a chance to extend. 2-2, 1 out. The pitch from Lozano. Off the back foot of Tollerman, he's hit by the pitch. Zach Tollerman is a ball magnet. There are just some guys who just find a way to get hit by a pitch. It's not necessarily something that they do. It's got to be their aura or just something about them. They just find a way to get hit. For Tollerman, that's his 10th hit by pitch of the summer in his 28th game. So Tallerman is at first, and now it's Charlie Caruso. Caruso with a chance to bust it wide open. With one out and the bases loaded, here's the first pitch. Charlie takes a high fastball, 1-0. Left on left to match up Chris Lozano, the southpaw, now sharing a chat with his catcher, Jacob Galloway. Caruso's got home run pop as he adjusts his batting gloves outside of the left-handed batter's box, surveys his stick. A practice cut, now 2, and he's ready to go. Royal at third, Hicks at second, and Tallerman at first. 2-0 game, Blues lead, 1-0. Caruso rolls inside of a pitch that hit him on the leg. Hit by pitch to Charlie Caruso now, and back-to-back doses brings in the 3rd run of the game. Bit anticlimactic, but it gets the job done. It scores Royal from third base. Ixabad advances to third, and Tallerman at second with Caruso at first. And now it's Diego Murillo with a meeting at the mound. A right-hander getting loose in the bullpen for Conejo. Getting that ID for you in just a few seconds. Top of the 7th inning, and the Blues have scored their first run in the ball game on a hit by pitch with the bases loaded. Long meeting at the mound, and it looks like Lozano's day is done. So the Oaks had no one warming up in the bullpen. They frantically got a right-hander to get up and moving around, and this could be a long warm-up here as Lozano heads into the dugout. New right-hander for the Oaks. We'll tell you all about him right after this. The Blues lead 3-0 over the Conejo Oaks on the Slow Blues streaming network. pitcher into the game for Chris Lozano, who actually exits this one with an injury. So that's why Matthew Queen had to warm up pretty quickly in the bullpen and then now on the field. So hopefully Lozano's okay. His day's not over yet, though. An inning and a third, 3 hits, 1 walk, and a strikeout. All the runners on base will be charged to Lozano. So now it's McQueen who delivers a first pitch strike to Murillo, 0-1. Queen is a right-hander from Pepperdine, and this is his first appearance in CCL conference play. The Blues up 3-0 in the top half of the 7th inning from Sparky Anderson Field as the infield comes in. 0-1, a bender misses inside, 1 ball and a strike to the uncommitted infielder from San Luis Obispo. Murillo, a former Riverhawk from Northeastern State in Oklahoma, after some coaching changes has decided to hit the portal. A pretty successful season though in D2 ball, batting north of 260. 2-1. Murillo takes high and tight, and it's 3 balls and a strike now to Murillo. The second baseman is 1 for 3 today. An RBI single, a strikeout looking, and a fly out to center field.
2-1.
It's 2 balls and a strike to Murillo. Another curveball, snap to throw, and a dive back by Hicksonbaugh. He's in there in time. Two and 2 to Diego, rocking his cherry red batting gloves and a sweatband on his right arm. High pants and sunglasses on. Bases juiced. 1 out, 2-2 count. Blues up 3-0. From the stretch, here comes the new pitcher, Queen. Fastball off the end of the bat, backhanded by the second baseman Gonzalez. They'll go home and get the force out. Hicksonbaugh is retired at the plates. A fielder's choice, and nothing to show for it as Hicksonbaugh is forced out at home, and that's the first out of the inning. So that moves up Tallerman to third, Caruso at second, and Murillo at first. Here comes Drew Raymond now. I checked that, second out of the inning. Here's Raymond with the bases juiced. Grounder to second again. Gonzalez has got it. Throw to first in time. And the side is retired. 4-3 put out. And the Blues tack on another run on a RBI hit by pitch from Charlie Caruso. It's now 3-0, and it's time to stretch at Sparky Anderson Field on the Slow Blue Streaming Network in an inning brought to you by Educational Employees Credit Union. Home half of the 7th inning is brought to you by Educational Employees Credit Union, proudly serving the Central Coast. EECU is located in Paso Robles and can be found at myecu.org as the leadoff man sends this one into center field, a base hit. That's Nolan Johnson. Experience smarter banking at Educational Employees Credit Union. Well, there you go, a leadoff single for Nolan Johnson, and Eric Cavidal is still out there for the Blues. Kvidal has been super efficient this outing for the Blues. Just north of 60 pitches, and he's entered his 7th inning of work. Has just allowed the 4th base hit of the day, though, for the Oaks, and it brings up Tyler Holly. From the stretch with a runner on first, Holly swings and misses at the first pitch slider for strike 1. Holly attended Bonita High School in Laverne, is a 4-year letter winner with the baseball program, and helped the team get to a CIF final his sophomore year. Holly pops it up behind home plate, might be playable for the catcher Button, who makes the catch for the first out of the 7th inning. A nice play by Nico Button, a tough play with all the angles and the sun setting and the shadows. He comes through and makes the catch behind home plate. So now it's Jake Schwartz with 1 out and a runner on first base. Schwartz is 0 for 2, a strikeout and a ground ball out to short. And the left-handed hitter stepping in against the righty Kvidal for the 3rd time today. First pitch fastball misses high and outside for ball 1. A Sea Lion from Point Loma Nazarene. 23 hits in his 55 at-bats this summer. Picked to first, and the runner Johnson's in time. Schwartz went 2 for 4 yesterday against the Riptide with a strikeout. And a 4-game hit streak on the line here on an 0 for 2 day in the bottom of the 7th. 1-0. Schwartz lines this one into right field, a base hit. The streak stays alive. Schwartz finds a barrel. The hit streak grows to 5, and 2 runners on with 1 out for Devin Wilkes. Johnson advances to second, and Schwartz is at first. And here comes the tying run at the dish, and Devin Wilkes. Wilkes went 1 for 3 3 days ago against the Riptide, and he is one of the more impressive players that you'll see in the CCL. Why is that? Well, he's committed to Cal State Bakersfield, and he's 17 years old. Yet he's put up some pretty ridiculous numbers at playing against college-level players. In 94 at-bats, he has a .319 average with a .426 slugging. He swings and fouls the first offering straight back for strike 1. This past season at Pacifica High School, he was Ventura County Player of the Year and first-team All-State in California. He was intentionally walked 6 times in his 3 postseason games he played at Pacifica High School. That's fear personified. Inside move, no one's at second. The throw goes to Alves, who was not covering the bag. Wilkes is wearing some green and yellow batting gloves, almost looking like the Oregon Ducks, or you could say the Savannah Bananas as well. Going to Cal State Bakersfield, which famously is blue and yellow. With 1 out, Kvidal checks second twice, now comes home. The 0-1 curveball is in there for strike 2. That's a good-looking bender for Eric Kvidal as a righty gets loose in the bullpen for the Blues. Might be Charlie Ferris getting hot for the Blues. 0-2 the pitch. Hard on the ground, right side. Tarman scoops it up. They go to second for 1. Get the force there. On to first, not in time. Wow, what a play by Tarman to keep that one in the infield. That was smoked off the bat of Devin Wilkes. He gets the out at second base, and there's 2 gone. Nolan Jones advances to third. Schwartz is forced out at second, and Wilkes reaches. So here's Zach Mara. Mora is 1 for 1 today. A single in the 3rd and a walk in the 5th. He's reached base safely in both of his plate appearances. Has a chance to scratch across the first run of the day for the Oaks. Curveball slips out of the fingertips of Kvidal, and it misses for ball 1. Mora has driven in 9 this summer for the Oaks. Want to make that double digits here with Johnson 90 feet away at third. With 2 outs, Kvidal sighs. Delivers the 1-0. Fastball missing high, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. 90 miles an hour from Eric Kvidal, and he's deep into his outing. 6 2/3 deep to be exact. Long hold from Kvidal from the stretch, 2-0. Fastball popped up and out of the stadium, straight back. It's 2-1. Damian Villa getting hot in the bullpen from Peru, California. Another right-hander for the Oaks. Runners at the corners. Blues up 3-0 in the bottom half of the 7th. 2-1 is drilled into right field. Hicksabah comes in and it falls in front of him for a base hit. First run of the afternoon for the Conejo Oaks, and it comes in the bottom half of the 7th inning. An RBI single from Zach Mora. Scores an 8. Nolan Johnson from 3rd. And all of a sudden, the Oaks are cooking with 2 outs. Second hit of the day for Mora as the manager, Dean Traynor, heads out to the hill. First time Dean's had to do that today. It's still Charlie Ferris getting loose in the Blues bullpen down the right field line. All parties waiting for Traynor to point to the pen. No change, and the manager Traynor heads back to the dugout. Coming up, it's Ethan Gonzalez. Gonzalez 0 for 2 today. Reach on fielder's choice in the 3rd and grounded out to the first baseman Tollerman in the 5th. 1 for 3 yesterday with a run scored and a strikeout against the Riptide. Runners on 1st and 2nd. Wilkes at 2nd, Mora at 1st. Go ahead run at the dish. First pitch. Slider hitting the outside corner, strike 1. And it is amazing what Kvidal is doing today. He has not pitched like this at any point this summer. The endurance, the intensity, and all the pitches. Really finding a groove against one of the better teams in the league. The 0-1 pitch. Lined over the Blues dugout down the first base line and foul. Kvidal an out away from getting out of this jam. Middle infield playing deep, outfield at regular depth. The center fielder Royal shaded slightly to the opposite side of Gonzalez, the right-handed hitter. The right-handed throwing Kvidal comes set from the stretch. With 2 outs, the 0-2. Fastball right back up the middle. Diving is Alves to keep it in the infield. Flip to second, gets away from Murillo. Man, what an effort by Brady Alves. He'll go down as a base hit. Not much you can really do there. That was smoked from Ethan Gonzalez. All right, infield base hit. Loads the bases for Tommy Kemlinger. Fourth base hit of the inning. Prior to the 7th, the Oaks had only recorded 3 base hits in 6 innings. Curveball misses inside, 1-0. Kemlinger is 1 for 3 today. A single in the first, stole a bag, lined out to right, and struck out swinging in the 6th. That liner to right was a missile. Biola Eagle ready on the 1-0. Fastball the opposite way, right field a base hit. Kemlinger brings in a run. He might have brought in 2. The throw comes in. He's in there safely. Wow. Tommy Kemlinger has just tied the game with a 2 RBI single. The Blues are stunned. Here comes Dean Traynor, and he's going to talk to the home plate umpire about that call at the plate. It was pretty close. An excellent relay throw from Murillo at second base. And a nice piece of hitting from Tommy Kemlinger, the righty going the opposite way. Fourth hit of the inning. Now check that, 5th hit of the inning. hot off the press from Kellinger. It's his second knock of the day. So Trainer heads to the hill. I think there's a new pitcher. It will be Charlie Ferris. Whole new ball game in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Tommy Kellinger ties it with a 2 RBI single. We're notched up at 3. New pitcher on the SLO Blues streaming network. Here we go, new pitcher for the Blues, Charlie Ferris relieving Eric Kvidal. 6 2/3 innings of work, 8 hits, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. 5 of those 8 came this inning. First pitch from Ferris, it's a swing and a miss to Lucas Danielewicz for strike 1. A 2 RBI single from Tommy Kellinger has tied the game. Zach Moore had an RBI single earlier in this inning to bring across the first run of the ball game for the Oaks. And with 2 outs, the bases are loaded for Ferris. So check that, runners at the corners for Ferris. 0-1. Slider slips out of the fingertips and misses high. 1 ball and a strike. Ferris, the Stephen F. Austin commit, is making his 5th appearance of the summer for the Blues. Has pitched in 12 innings, 11 strikeouts, 8 walks, and 9 hits for a .225 earned run average. Giving up 3 earned runs this summer. Runner heads towards second. Here comes the throw from Button. He pump fakes it. There's no throw. Stolen base for Tommy Kellinger. Kellinger's at second. Gonzalez at third. The right-hander Danielewicz at the dish. An update, the Walnut Creek Crawdads have defeated the Alameda Merchants. Magic number is 1 for the Blues. They either need to win or the Merchants need to lose to make the playoffs. Slider and a nice pitch. Button slides to his right on the backhand to get there. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lucas Danielewicz is 0 for 3 today. 2 pop-outs and a ground ball out. He's got 2 runners in scoring position with 2 gone. Game tied at 3. A chance to take the lead over the Blues. They've been trailing all day. The righty Ferris strides and shoots. 2-2, swung on and missed, strike 3. Ferris gets him to chase on the slider, and they strand 2 in scoring position. but not before Tommy Kendlinger ties the game with a 2-run single in the bottom half of the 7th inning. We go into the 8th in an inning brought to you by SLO County Golf. Top half of the 8th is brought to you by SLO County Golf, offering 3 courses in SLO, Morro Bay, and Atascadero. They offer a unique combination of beautiful scenery and affordable prices. Book your next tee time at slocountygolf.com. Nico Button leads it off against Matthew Queen. First pitch. Looping curveball hit in the inside part of the zone for strike 1. Nico today is 1 for 2. A walk, a pop out to short, and a single in the 6th inning where he stole his first bag of the summer. The 0-1. Button gets another curveball and he swings and misses right through it for strike 2. Man, that thing is sharp from the right-handed throwing Queen. The Oaks have just tied it up at 3 off a 2-run single from Tommy Kendlinger. And now Button goes down swinging. 90-mile-an-hour fuzz from Matthew Queen challenges the catcher, and the former or the future Torero goes down swinging. It's the 9th strikeout of the day for the Blues offense, and it brings up Brady Alves. Button just saw a 90-mile-an-hour fastball after seeing a 70-mile-an-hour curveball. Baseball is hard. Here's Brady Alves, who's 0 for 3 today. A slider here and a called strike, 0-1. Alves struck out, chopped into a double play, and popped out to second. Today's starting shortstop batting 8th. The 0-1. Alves rolls inside of a slider that misses inside. 1 ball and 1 strike to Brady. Well, the Blues were leading the Oaks all game, and finally it caught up to him in the bottom half of the 7th with an RBI single from Mora and a 2 RBI single from Kendlinger. Curveball hits Alves. There's the go-ahead run over on first base with 1 out. And Alves, who was hit by a pitch last game, gets dosed here with 1 out. And it brings up Gavin Constantine, 0 for 3 day as well. A couple of Ks and a ground ball out to the third baseman, Holly. The third base coach, Rene Regalado, gives his signs as Constantine holds his bat by the end. He grips and gears in with a runner on first base and 1 out. The righty Queen comes set and delivers. Fastball, he pops it up to left field. Schwartz charging in. Underneath it makes the one-handed grab. Well, Constantine with an aggressive approach, popped it out to left field. He got a fastball that he liked and wanted to get on top of it as soon as possible, just missing it underneath by a millimeter. So now here's E.J. Royal with the go-ahead run on first base following a pop-out from Constantine. Update from up north with the Alameda Merchants losing to the Walnut Creek Crawdads by a score of 2-1. The Blues' magic number is 1. If they win this game, they're in the playoffs. Here's Royal taking a first pitch strike at 90 miles an hour. The Pepperdine wave, Matthew Queen, is just pumping the zone with 90-mile-an-hour fuzz. Alves carefully inches off first, the 0-1. Slider missing low, 1 ball and a strike. Royal didn't think about offering for a second. EJ is 1 for 3 today. A walk, a single, a strikeout, and he reached on error in the 7th. Has scored 2 runs for the Blues. Zach Tollerman scored the other run. The 1-1. Royal swings and misses on a sharp slider that bit outside the zone. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Top of the 8th inning from Sparky Anderson Field on the campus of Cal Lutheran. The Blues trying to edge the Conejo Oaks and enter the playoffs. Here's the 1-2. Royal tied up on a fastball as he fouls it straight back into the fence behind home plate, and will do it again. Jake Hixenbaugh stands on deck for San Luis Obispo. The catcher Galloway in his red, white, and blue catching gear flips his mask back on, and EJ digs back in the right-handed batter's box. A right-on-right matchup, with the infield slightly shifted towards EJ's pull side. 1-2. Big looping curveball, and he watches it go for strike 3. Royal grimaces as he takes the heel-toe express right back to the dugout, and we head into the home half of the 8th inning. The Oaks look to take the lead against the Blues as they strand a runner on first. This is the SLO Blues Streaming Network. Jacob Galloway leads it off in the bottom half of the 8th inning. What is now a tied ball game between the Conejo Oaks and the San Luis Obispo Blues. Eric Cavidal's reign of terror came to an end in the 7th. He was just wheeling and dealing against the Oaks, and then fatigue hit him, and he let up 3 runs in 1 inning. Well, that tied the game. The cherry on top was a Tommy Kendlinger 2 RBI single as Jacob Galloway takes a fastball for ball 1. Ferris a much quicker worker than Eric Cavidal as he's ready to go from the windup on the hill. Here's the 1-0. Galloway lines it down the right field line, but it's foul way out in front of that changeup as he capped it. And it's 1 ball and a strike to the former Aggie from Texas A&M. Galloway caught pitches from former Blues Aiden Sims and Grant Cunningham this past spring. Ferris with a deep breath, ready to go. 1-1. Galloway takes a fastball high and outside, 2 balls and a strike now. Jacob 1 for 3 today. A fly out to left, a single, and a hard line out to left too. In the driver's seat against the Stephen F. Austin commit, Charlie Ferris, who kicks and deals. Fastball crushed into right field. Hicksonbaugh jetting towards the fence and one-hops the wall. Galloway hustles around first and heads into second base. A stand-up leadoff double in the bottom half of the 8th inning. And Jacob's been hitting the ball hard all day today, and this one finally pays off for him in extra bases. The go-ahead run now stands in scoring position for Nolan Johnson. Johnson is 1 for 3 today. A fly out to right, a double play, and a single. On that leadoff single in the 7th, he came around to score the first run of the day for the Oaks. Infield playing at halfway depth, except for Alves at short. Showing bunt is Johnson. Pulls it back on a pitch that almost hits him in the face. A 1-0 to Nolan Johnson. Nolan has driven in just 2 runs this summer in 56 at-bats entering today's game. He's a future Blue Devil commit. Warning issued to the Blues dugout. A second warning of the day. A meeting between the third base coach of the Oaks and Nolan Johnson. All smiles from the home plate umpire as Johnson heads back in. Nolan, a 6'6" catcher from Thousand Oaks. A former Hurricane from the University of Miami. Staying in the ACC to play for Duke this fall. Zach Tellerman, the first baseman, crashing in as he shows bunt again. 1-0. Pokes at it. Throw down to second. They try to backpick Galloway, and he's in there safely. Good awareness from Nico Button, but better instincts from Galloway to slide back in first with the hands. 1-1 count to the first baseman, Nolan Johnson. Ferris peeks at second twice, now comes home. Fastball misses inside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Go ahead, run at second, 3-3 game in the home half of the 8th inning. Standing on deck, it's Tyler Hawley. The 2-1. Curveball line into right field. Hicksonbaugh won't have a play. It falls in front of him, a base hit. Galloway gets the stop sign, but Johnson goes into second base. A single for Nolan Johnson. He advances to second on the throw, and there's 2 in scoring position for the Oaks. Back-to-back base hits to begin the bottom half of the 8th. The entire infield converges at the mound as they get ready for Tyler Hawley. Hawley 0 for 3, a strikeout, a ground ball out to first, and a pop out to the catcher, Nico Button. The third baseman, Constantine, playing in. The whole infield playing in as Cooper Bagby gets hot in the bullpen for the Blues. And in a hurry, too. Slider, low and outside, that's ball 1. Galloway at third, Johnson at second. no outs. Tyler Hawley. 1-0. Up the middle and off the ankle. Caught by Murillo at second base. They go to second and turn the double play. I can't believe it. Charlie Ferris plays hacky sack, and Murillo is right there to turn the DP. Wow. Hot shot right back up the middle. It ricocheted off the foot of Ferris. And Murillo, smiling ear to ear, makes the play.
He's checking in. He didn't let anyone check. Because the bench line.
Now batting, left fielder number 32.
Wow, what a play.
Ford.
So 2 gone, and the go-ahead run still stands 90 feet away. That's got to be play of the summer.
That's gotta be the coolest thing I've seen in baseball.
Game tied at 3. It's Jake Schwartz. Curveball and a taken strike 0-1. And just like that, the Conejo Oaks dugout has fallen flat. Left on right matchup, the righty Ferris against the lefty Schwartz, who's 1 for 3. From the stretch, 0-1 lined foul on the right field line. A hard strike 2. Blues dugout's gonna go nuts if Charlie can get out of this. 3-3 ball game, home half of the 8th. Blues have been leading the whole day at a 3 spot, has brought these two together. The 0-2. Schwartz off the hand sends it straight back. Jacob Galloway stands at third. And conservative base running might come back to haunt the Oaks in this inning. The lefty awaits. 0-2 count. Ferris in the driver's seat. Here's the pitch. Fastball sent straight back again, 0-2. Ferris pumping it up at 90. Devin Wilkes stands on deck for the Oaks. 0-2, 2 outs. Go-ahead run stands at third. A deep breath from Charlie Ferris. Infield at their regular spots. Same for the outfield. Wind blowing out to right. Helping out the lefty Schwartz. The 0-2. Swing and a miss on the slider for strike 3. Drop third. They go to first and they got him. Charlie Ferris escapes the jam thanks to some flashy defense and a wicked curveball to end the frame. Game still tied at 3 as we head into the 9th inning on the SLO Blues streaming network. What an inning in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Charlie Ferris escapes a humongous jam. A single or a hit right back up the middle from Tyler Hawley, hit off his heel and was caught by Murillo, who dove at second, and they flipped the second to turn a double play. Jake Hicksenbaugh now leads off the frame, shows bunt and bunts it straight back for strike 1. That would have scored 2 runs for sure. But instead, it's still a 3-3 ball game. And Jake Hicksenbaugh leads it off here against Matthew Queen, who's back out there for another inning. A new left fielder, too. Borjas replaces Schwartz.
Yeah.
Here's a line drive into center field, and Kendlinger won't have a play. Lead-off single for Jake Hicksenbaugh. That gets the party started for the Blues, and up comes Zach Tollerman. First base hit of the day for Jake Hicksenbaugh and a 7-game hit streak. And Zach Tollerman steps in now. He's got a double today. Scored the second run of the day for the Blues. Hicksenbaugh goes to second. The throw goes down. He's in there safely with a head-first slide. He nods his head. Oh, yes, I did. A stolen base for Jake Hicksenbaugh, last year's team leader with 22. That's his 11th stolen base of the summer. So now Tollerman with a runner in scoring position, the go-ahead run in scoring position. 1-0, almost hits his head. It pops out of the mid of Galloway, but Hicksenbaugh will stay at second base. A couple of bodies getting loose on the Blues bullpen as potential pinch hitters for the bottom part of the order. Kosei Suzuki, Gavin Smith, Sebastian Lopez all getting loose. But for now, it's Zach Tollerman in a tied game at 3 in the top half of the 9th. Potentially the last chance for the Blues to take the lead. No outs, and Hicksenbaugh at second. The 2-0. Tollerman pops it up and out of play into the parking lot. 2 balls and a strike. Blues win this game, and they're in the playoffs. Magic number has dwindled down to 1. The 2-1. Tollerman swings and misses over a slider for strike 2. Charlie Caruso stands on deck. He drove in Zach Tollerman in the 6th. Hicksenbaugh at second, standing straight up with his sliding mitt on his right hand. 2-2. Tollerman takes it low. Nice leave on a 78-mile-an-hour changeup. Full count to Tollerman. A deep sigh as he takes his time getting back in the right-handed batter's box. He fills up the chalk completely with his widened stance. 3-3 game, no outs, the payoff. Tollerman dribbles it foul. Tollerman holds his bat by the barrel, taps his foot, and gets ready for the 7th pitch of this at-bat. Cooper Bagby continues to warm up in the bullpen for the Blues. It's still Matthew Queen, the righty from Pepperdine, making his CCL debut. 3-2. Slider, he takes it outside, ball 4. Excellent set of peepers for Zach Tollerman. 2 runners on for the Blues. Back-to-back base runners to begin the top half of the 9th inning. Go-ahead runner stands at second still, and Jake Hicksenbaugh. And it's Charlie Caruso. Caruso, 1 of 2 today, an RBI single and a fly out to right. Aside from that, was hit by pitch with the bases loaded. That brought in a run and also walked in the first. A left-on-right matchup. The left-hitting catcher Caruso against the righty Queen. First pitch, Charlie right to the second baseman Gonzalez. Both runners get back to their bases. Caruso ambushed, but just caught it off the end of the bat. An unfortunate break. That's the first out of the ninth. So here's Murillo. Recorded an RBI single in the first. That was the first and only run of the ball game for 6 innings today. The Blues tacked on another insurance run in the 6th from Caruso. But since then, it has just been absolute cinema at Sparky Anderson. First pitch, Murillo blown a fastball right by him at 90 miles an hour for strike 1. 1 out for Murillo, who's 1 for 4. Single, strikeout, force fielder's choice, and a fly out to center. Made a great play to save 2 runs. Off the hands, and he fouls it down the third base line and in front of the Oaks dugout. Now how to be tough with 2. Diego Murillo trying to slow it down with 1 out and 2 runners on. Ixenba at second and Zach Tollerman at first. Ixenba representing the go-ahead run at a tied game, 3-3 in the 9th. McQueen comes set at the chest, now below the belt. The 0-2. Murillo checks his swing, and he went around for strike 3. That's a big strikeout for Matthew Queen. So it comes down to Drew Raymond. Drew 1 for 4, a strikeout, a single, reached on fielder's choice and a ground ball out to end the 7th inning. The Blues put up another run to make it a 3-1 game. Pick over to second, a C move, floated in there into the glove of Mora. Raymond was 2 for 3 last night and stole 3 bags, scored 2 runs himself. This summer with the Blues, he's cashed in 5 on his 18 hits. First pitch, Raymond takes a fastball center cut for strike 1. Raf Shirella now loose in the bullpen for the Blues next to Cooper Bagby. The 0-1. Raymond takes another fastball for strike 2. 91 miles an hour from Queen. That's his fastest thrown 4-seamer today. Hicks still at second, Tollerman at first. Raymond trying to fight with 2 strikes and 2 outs. 0-2. High bouncer to first, charging it as Johnson. It goes underneath his glove and into right field. Hixenbach comes in to score. Tollerman in at third. Buckner-style error from Johnson at first base, and the Blues take the lead 4-3. First error of the ball game, and it's a costly one for Johnson as he reflects at first base, burying his face in his right hand. Wow. Ixenba scores from second. Tollerman's in at third. Raymond's at first. Here's Nico Button. Raymond goes to second. The throw is pump faked, and a stolen bag for Drew Raymond. Two in scoring position for Nico, who is 1 for 3 today. 1-0. Button takes a looping curveball for a strike. A walk, a stolen base for Nico too. He struck out swinging for the first time today in the 8th. Raymond at second, Tollerman at third. Right on left matchup. Button with a big swing and a miss at another bender for strike 2. Blues have taken the lead on an error from Johnson at first base. Wind blowing straight out to right field, the pull side for Nico. The 1-2. Button takes a fastball at 91 miles an hour off the plate inside. 2-2. 5 stakes for Nico this summer on 10 hits. 6 walks to his 9 strikeouts. Make it 10 after today. 2-2. Button takes it low and inside, and now a full count to the future Torero. Played at Cal Berkeley for 3 seasons, hit the portal. Now heading down south to play in the West Coast Conference. But first, wants to give his Blues some insurance. The payoff. Button off the hands. It's backhanded by Gonzalez at second. He goes to first, and the sign is retired. But Drew Raymond drives in a run with that error on first base by Johnson. Hixenbach scores from second as the ground ball went underneath his glove. Can the Blues hang on? We'll find out as we head into the bottom of the 9th inning on the SLO Blues streaming network. Here we go, bottom half of the 9th inning from Sparky Anderson Field. Charlie Ferris looks to send the Blues to the playoffs. First pitch, and it's a swung on and missed on the changeup to Devin Wilkes for strike 1. Wilkes today is 0 for 3, a fly out, a ground out, and a reach on fielder's choice in the 7th. Ooh, and it hits his front foot. That puts the tying run on first base for Conejo just like that. Now, Wilkes is not a plus runner. As a matter of fact, I'd say he's almost a minus runner. And they might put in a pinch runner for him, and I think we got an Oak loosening up his legs, and we'll go to first base. That'll be Isaac Veal, a rising junior from Westmont College, a Santa Barbara, California native, coming in to replace Wilkes. So Wilkes is hit by the pitch. That's the first batter Ferris sees, and it's Zach Mora. Mora has seen it really well today. 2 for 2, an RBI single and a walk. First pitch, Mora tied up on a pitch inside. Runner jets towards second, and Button would have had a play if he picked it up. A passed ball, and now Veal is in scoring position. That is unfortunate. All right, so Ferris with the tying run in scoring position. Ready to go against Mora in an 0-1 count. A look at second, not being held on. Shows bunt, pulls it back, and dodges a fastball or an off-speed inside 1-1. First baseman Zach Tallman was crashing that time as he communicates with the rest of the infield. Mario will be covering first with Tellerman crashing. 1-1, nobody out. Just enter the bottom half of the ninth inning, potentially the last chance, or it is the last chance for the Oaks to take the lead. Bunt, and it's fouled. Oaks can either tie it or win it. The sun beginning to set in Thousand Oaks, shadows painting the side of the hills behind the field. A white CLU made with rocks out in the distance, entrenched in darkness. 1-2. Curveball hits him on the forearm. Back-to-back hit by pitches. And now the winning run stands at first base for Conejo. And Dean Traynor heads out to the rubber to talk to Ferris. Cooper Bagby, the uncommitted right-hander from Allen Hancock College, is still getting loose in the bullpen for the Blues. And things get a little dicey here. With 2 hit by pitches in a row, and you put the winning run at first base. Runners at first and second. Traynor meeting at the mound with all of his squad. Trying to go over a bunt situation with Ethan Gonzalez. Gonzalez is 1 for 3 today. A single reached on a fielder's choice and a ground ball out to Zach Tollerman at first. If the Blues win this game, they are in the playoffs. If not, they either have to win one of the next 2 games or the Merchants have to lose. Right now, it's Ethan Gonzalez. Gonzalez, a Golden Eagle from Cal State LA, and he's got some speed too, a 6.7 second 60-yard dash. Showing bunt. Pops it up, straight back and foul. Constantine and Tellerman were right there. They could smell Gonzalez's cologne. This past season at Cal State LA, he batted .241 with 47 hits. He drove in 15 with 1 homer. This summer with the Oaks, a .286 average, 7 runs batted in and no homers. The infield ready for a bunt. Shows it, gets it down. Constantine goes to third. The throw gets away. Wilkes will score. Mora rounds third. The ball's in the bullpen, and there's no way the Conejo Oaks have walked it off an error from Gavin Constantine.
And that's the game. Final score, your Conejo 5 and the St. Louis Blues 4. Thank you for coming out.
It's going to be a silent bus ride back to Sloan. The celebration will have to wait. Devin Wilkes and Zach Mora both reached on hit by pitches, and they tied and then won the game. Constantine was in the right position to field that ground ball. Might have rushed it a little bit too much as he charged it. Ardois or Alves was at third base. It was all set up perfectly. The defense was right where they needed to be. All the controllables were controlled up until the throw. A heartbreaking loss for the Blues. And they're going to have to rely on some losses, and they need to clutch up with some wins these next 2 games if they want to make the playoffs. Blues fall 5-4 against the Conejo Oaks at 6:57 p.m. A lot to chew on tonight. Thank you to everyone tuning in at the Ancient Owl watch party and to everyone else on the Slow Blues streaming network. The Blues celebration will have to wait another day. Still in the playoff picture as it stands right now, but they're going to need some help. 5-4 loss. The Oaks walk it off at Sparky Anderson Field. The Blues come back tomorrow to play these same Oaks at Sinsheimer Stadium, and then the day after end the season with the OC Riptide.